But in
Right.
your situation, you have a unique dynamic, and for some reason, we came to this consensus that the best player has to be the leader, and I think it came from Jordan. I think most stuff from basketball talk now stems from Michael Jordan. Um, but you're in a situation where the best player is a leader, but he's not the Michael Jordan type of leader.
So let's talk about that. Two things. I think one, your best player is a leader, whether he wants to be or not, or she wants to be or not. When you are your best player, everybody's looking to you. When things are hitting the fan, as they say, or bumps on the road, or whatever expression we want to use, everybody's looking to you to be like, dude, you got to help us out, kind of thing. So I would say whether you want to be or not, if you're the best player on the team, you are a leader because you can do things that other people can't. The second thing I would say is what kind of leader you are speaks volumes. Like I think there's a reason why some players who are supremely talented have not been on winning teams because how they choose to conduct their lives and their business really sets a tone for that locker room. The second thing I would mention is I don't believe that any organization has just one leader. In fact, there's an exercise that I do with teams where I try to identify different types of leaders by asking a series of questions. So, like, I'll share you some of the questions that I ask. Imagine, so here are two questions that give you very different results just to kind of highlight my thought process. Who on the team, so here's how I ask the question. Imagine the team's on a bus, it's a road trip. The bus crashes, everybody survives, but it crashes in the middle of nowhere. It's like the middle of a jungle. I don't know what game you're playing or where, but you just got to roll with me on this. So the bus crashes in the jungle, and you can only send one person to go get help. Who's that one person? And you let the team kind of select. And 9 times out of 10, that's the person who's really the heart of your team. That's the warrior of your team. That's the person who will themselves and everybody else around them to victory. Like that's your grit guy or gal. By contrast, another question I'll ask is, okay, same scenario where, now we're going to a game via helicopter. The helicopter lands in a deserted island and we're all stranded. It's out of gas. A boat comes by and rescues everybody but 2 people. You volunteer to stay, and because you volunteered to stay, everybody agrees that you can pick the other person who stays with you. And you don't know when the rescue boat is coming back. So I'll open this one up to you. What do you think we're trying to figure out there?
I guess it would be the person or player that is on a mental side able to have the right mindset to kind of have the long-term vision and view of things, and they're
Yeah,
also bearable.
yeah. It's the person that can get along with everybody. It's the least annoying person. Like if you're going to be stuck on a deserted island, you just don't want to be with somebody who's going to drive you crazy, right? So where the first person's that warrior spirit, the second person is potentially that social connector. So one thing that can happen is some highly talented players can really struggle to connect with their teammates because they're like, why can't you do what I do? So on road trips, you put that deserted island person, the one that everybody votes, you put that with the high performance player, and it'll increase their likability because that's a social connector. And so when you start to look at, again, human behavior is unbelievably complicated. Human interaction is a multiplier of that complication. When we're trying to put together a team, it's about having multiple leaders. So with an organization that I've worked really closely with for the last couple of years, You've got one leader who is supremely talented. You've got another leader who really is the accountability coach and ensures that everybody is doing their job. And then you've got another one that's kind of like a pressure release valve, a guy who can kind of keep the locker room light and engaged. So this one has an expectation of excellence, the best talented player, and a hard worker, but might not call people out. And everybody wants to follow him because he's so great. This one calls people out, so he holds a lot of weight in the room. And then this one knows when to kind of lighten the room a little bit with a joke or a smile. All three are very important to the process of success.
Yeah, I think that that's more of the conversation we should have, because I think we get too pigeonholed in leadership as in one person. Leadership is the focal point of this one direction of, like, it's always the Jordan, it's always Kobe, it's always LeBron. But you didn't see how Pippen was more of the mom of the team, where Jordan was laying down the law and Pippen come right behind him, was like, okay, this is what he said, but this is what he meant. He had Kobe and Shaq.
Mhm.
Yeah. He had Kobe and Shaq, where Kobe was the driving force and we're just laying down the law. And Shaq was like, man, forget all that, man. We gonna ball out here and have fun. And then he had Powell, and I think Derek Fisher was the ultimate connector, like you were saying, for Kobe, because he was ruthless and he was like, how are you so dumb in basketball and you get paid to do this? But Fish was come behind him and like, that wasn't the smartest play, man. Like, come on. Like, he would soften the blow of what Kobe was saying. And so I think that sometimes we lose sight that, like you said, it's more than just one person leadership. It's more of a group, or more of a tier of leadership. And I think that's the better conversation we should start having. So you pressure young guys into, or young girls, to being the Jordan or Kobe type of leadership, where you have to speak up and be vocal. But I think we have to have the more nuanced conversation of actions lead to. We need to follow that, because, like you said, you have a player who might not say a whole lot, but everybody's going to follow them in what they do, because they're the ones that's working the hardest in the organization or the team. So,
Well, and I think it's also very situational, right? Like there are times where an accountability coach or player, the one that holds everybody to a standard, can be really important. Like, look, if we're going to run up that hill, we got to run up as hard as we can, as fast as we can. That's the only way to win. And then there's other times where it's the relational coach or that relational player, to your point, the one that puts his arm around and says, hey, man, everything's going to be okay. If everybody's too relational and we're all just good vibes and chill, I don't think anything gets done. And if everything's too aggressive and too dominating, I also think nothing gets done. So there is, and it's replicated across a wide variety of literature and context. But in Eastern philosophy, we talk about yin and yang, right? Like there's a lightness and a darkness, and it's never 100% dark. It's never 100% light. Like there's always that little dot in it. It's also circular because it's meant to ebb and flow. And so I have found some of the best teams I've been around, they have multiple leaders, and then the group tends to track or follow the different leader needed for the task. Oh, the bus broke down and we got to fix a tire. We got to work together as a team to do that. Then this leader kind of kicks in. Oh, we all have to show up on time. Then this type of leader kicks in. Oh, we have to pursue excellence and work out at 4:00 in the morning. Like then this leader kicks in. So it becomes one of those things where when you're doing it right or when you're seeing it done right, it's a rich tapestry. It's almost like an orchestra where you're going like, oh, it's time for the horn section. Let's get that going. Oh, wait, now it's time to kind of let the wind section kick in. It's fun. It's fun to watch. Like when I reflect on my career and stuff, it's just fun to watch people who are masters of their craft doing amazing things with their mind, body, and spirit. So cool.
all right, okay, another timeout. Okay, look, if you got to this point, you have to be enjoying the episode. Like, you have to. At this point in the episode, you're enjoying it. So help me help you. Just, if you're on Apple right now and you're on your phone, okay, just take your phone, press the subscribe button. It's right there. Just do that with me. Even if on your laptop, take your mouse, boom, click over, boom, do your thing. Now you subscribe. Now you linked in because you don't want to miss the next great episode that I have. But doing stuff like this helps the episode grow, makes the show grow, and the podcast grow so I can keep getting great guests and keep doing great interviews. So if you listen on Apple or Spotify, take a second, look at your phone, press the follow button, okay? And share with a friend or two because you'll find the value in this. You want to have this conversation with your friends so they can have the same value. Now the whole basketball community can grow. All right. Thanks for listening so far. I'm going to get out your way. Let's get back to the episode. Appreciate you.